been sighing all the time. The reason why I couldn't tell you, you wouldn't want me to. The meaning is there in the act of the singing. Mine reminds me of the time. You know, the time when Snowden spilled his messy secret way up high in the sky, cold and humid. Well, the sleeping dogs, they lied. We couldn't turn the tide. We knew it was all the moon, but we still don't know if it's blinding or blinging. And your reflections in your mind are mirrors of the time we knew not to face the music. It always reminds us that we're only human.
Welcome to the Human Show, episode 14, Independence, or something, featuring special guest Rebecca Kemble on the interview. And today I am the piano recital guest. So every month on the first Saturday of each month at 3 o'clock Central, the Human Show interview and variety show, featuring a piano recital segment and an interview on the month's theme. And because the 4th of July is coming up, our theme is Independence or something. And I'm very looking forward to this. And part of why I want to do the piano recital segment today is I just relearned a variety of piano-centric music to play at the Farley's House of Piano stage during Music Madison. So I'm going to play some classical music left over from that, but not yet, because of this beautiful portrait in the back of Cafe CODA and the conversation I just had with Rebecca, and remembering the wonderful documentary, What Happened to Miss Simone, I think is the title. I'm going to play this song in honor of Nina Simone, and also honor David Bowie and Marvin Tate in the process, too.
Love me, love me, love me, say you do. Let me fly away with you, for my love is like the wind, and wild is the wind. Give me more than one caress, satisfy this hungriness. Let the wind blow through your heart, for wild is the wind. You touch me, I hear the sound of mandolins. You kiss me, with your kiss my life begins. You spring to me, all things to me. Don't you know your life itself? Like a leaf clings to a tree. Oh, my darling, cling to me, for we're creatures of the wind, and wild is the wind. I hear the sound of mandolins. You kiss me, with your kiss my life begins. You spring to me, all things to me. love itself. Like a leaf clings to a tree. Oh, my darling, cling to me, for we're creatures of the wind, and wild is the wind, wild is the wind, wild is the wind, wild is the wind. Thank you. I'll do one more little classical piece and then call up Rebecca. This is called My Lizard. It's by Samuel Barber and Theodore Roethke, otherwise titled Letter to a Young Wife. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. You'll hear the lyrics or not and see what you think. My lizard, oops. My lizard, my lively brother, may your limbs never wither, may the eyes in your face survive the green ice of envy's mean gaze. May you live out your life without hate, without grief, and your hair ever blaze in the sun. When I am undone, when I am no one. Thank you. Rebecca, could I call you to the stage? Thank you so much for doing this today. So I'm just going to start off and say why I asked Rebecca to come here today, and then I'm going to just have you take it away a bit. So Rebecca and I have worked together for a long time on cooperative things. Rebecca's a big cooperative organizer and intellectual, actually, if you don't mind me using that term, and just really active in a variety of ways, and also really active on stopping Line 3, and you spent time at Standing Rock, so you do a lot to support indigenous sovereignty, and between, and a lot of times in cooperative work we talk about interdependence, like sovereignty through interdependence, and autonomy via and interdependence is something that I'm really interested in. So I thought on this Independence Day weekend for this country, you would be a really good person to hear your perspective on the topic of independence, and you even suggested when I suggested that topic, your critique of the concept of independence. So let her rip, Rebecca. I would like to hear about how you've come to the perspectives you have, and just share some of your perspectives, and we'll just have a conversation about it.
Well, thanks, Stephanie. That's a big question. Is the microphone okay?
Yeah, you pull it down a little bit, and if you can be a little bit closer
okay?
to it.
Good?
Thanks.
So, Stephanie, the audience of our beloved and friends here.
Oh, yeah, but
Stephanie.
It's going worldwide.
Worldwide, okay.
Worldwide Web being live streamed on YouTube.
So, Stephanie, first of all, I have to say, a lot of times when we're in the humans, the global network of mutual aid networks, and introducing ourselves, I say, I'm Stephanie's biggest groupie. And one of the reasons is just what you just heard. Like, we have a conversation, she goes to the bathroom, and she performs Wild Like the Wind. Like, she hadn't prepared that. She just freaking sits down.
Thanks.
And does this awesome performance. And I'm just crying because it was so beautiful, and you're so awesome musically,
thanks.
and in your intellectual pursuits, and in your extreme generosity in sharing your talents with the community, and you just are giving all the time. And so when you said, "Can I bribe you to be on this?" I'm like, "You don't have to bribe me. I'll hang out with you and talk to you." And you said it was on independence, and I'm like, you're not going to like what I have to say about it. I'm kind of down on independence. I'm like, I'm not a big fan of independence. And then you asked me why, and I just started thinking about it. So I've been thinking about it for the last couple days, and independence, autonomy, and sovereignty, and just having some thoughts about it. You asked me, I'm just random things. This is the 14th Human Show. And so 14 was the cab number that I met my husband, Adam, in when he trained me driving cab. Oh my God, what's the date today?
17.
So no, it was July. It was probably July 10th. It was the middle of July, and so it's not our anniversary, honey. But, and when I met him, so I'm going to get there. I'm going to get to this, but you asked me where, a lot of the stuff comes from. So I feel like I've had multiple incarnations in my life, and when I met Adam, it was about the third or fourth. And but meeting him, like within 10 minutes of meeting him, I was like, this person is going to be my friend forever. And I just knew it. And that just cracked something open in me to where I felt I could fully be me. Like, I wasn't crazy. I didn't have to pretend. And this is really just within 10 minutes of meeting a person. So Cab 14, thank you. Dockley at Union Cab, thank you. But that for me is really the basis of sovereignty, is really feeling deep inside in your soul, in your person, that freedom to know who you are, to explore who you are, and to eventually express who you are. Because independence, I was thinking, on this spectrum, independence is kind of like toddler stage of figuring out your boundaries. It's a really reactive thing. It's like, you're not the boss of me, and I can do what I want, right? And then
I built it.
Right, I built it, right? I built everything. I built the internet, right? And then an autonomy, has more of a sense of not only reacting to something that you don't want, but starting to get a sense of gathering one's power, or a collective's power, and kind of looking inward and figuring out what that power is. And then sovereignty is fully being the master or mistress or conductor of one's life force, of one's power, with the knowledge, with the deep knowledge that everything is connected, and we are all connected, and we are all in relationship in one way or another. And so it's the responsible use of our power in community. And for me, that's what we should be celebrating, and we should be moving towards. And when I met you, I think it was like 2005, it was the year, the Time Bank had been going for a year. And that was a couple of years after I had left academia to become a cab driver. No, but to become a cab driver, but to become a cab driver in a worker cooperative business where my mind was blown that 200 people from all walks of life could make decisions about a $6 million company, and create good jobs for themselves and a really important service, critical service for the community. And I'm like, why can't all of the businesses be run this way, right? Like, we should. And then I quickly realized, well, you know, people need to understand that they can do that first, right? So from that, I really have dedicated a lot of my life force to supporting folks to understand that to build their sovereignty, like individual and in community, in multiple different ways. So I feel like, you know, 4th of July weekend, independence, a lot of the level of this country is still at bratty, you're not the boss of me phase. And it's getting worse, it's showing, and it shows. And it hurts a lot of people, right? Because we are connected.
You think this country seems juvenile?
It's just a bit, just a bit. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, it is a young country. It seems like it might forever remain a young country.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to have a chance to age. It's certainly not aging well. So I'm curious, like, what your perspective is on sovereignty in the context of this country on Independence Day. Like, I'm happy to hear your problem statement or your solution statement. I would like to hear, like, sort of, you know, what is a vision that you work toward? You were up in Ashland last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, like, yeah, what perspectives do you hear when you're supporting Indigenous communities, and what is your perspective on how we get to sovereignty through interdependence, or how would you even describe a desired end state?
Well, I guess a desired end state would be for there to be healthy people, healthy land, healthy water. I'm wearing my Lake Superior bling shirt that I got up in Ashland last weekend, and this just cut to me this. Lake Superior is sovereign, you know, is the mother of us all. Literally, the Great Lakes that we live near are 20% of the world's fresh water. Lake Superior is 10% of the world's fresh water. That is life. That is literally what sustains life in this part of the world. And the people who live around there, the Ojibwe people, the Ottawa people, the Potawatomi people, the Ottawa people, they have had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years of relationship with these particular waters and with water in general. And they are the people who know how to care for it. So about 10, 12 years ago, when some asshole was going to build a 22 open pit iron mine on the shore of Lake Superior, I actually had a vision, and I also had some knowledge because I had some relationships to people, but that the best way to stop that and to build community was to support the grandmas who have that relationship, and then to start having my own relationship with the water here, the Yahara River watershed, the water, you know, and this is where I live, but also to learn more about the water of the Great Lakes. And so for me, that foundation, the foundation of life is the healthy water and the healthy land. And you can't have sovereignty of anything or anyone if that health isn't there. And as we who live on the land from the water, if we're not healthy and in healthy relationships with each other, we can't, you know, there can't be sovereignty. So yes, I support, I mean, sovereignty it's kind of a political science term, but it's also a term of art, and in political science and history and law of this country way, the indigenous groups, 500 and I don't know how many of them have been recognized now, but over 530 have governmental units that are sovereign, although they have a trust relationship with the US government. So these formal governments of tribal peoples have on paper sovereignty, But there's a larger indigenous sovereignty that folks are organizing around, that folks are building, and a lot of that is based on seeds, on rematriating seeds of the foods that they once and still grow, and food systems. And again, the health of their people. Like, that's where it all starts. So big picture, you know, if we humans survive into the future, I think the way to do that in the best way, in a good way, is for us to build sovereign communities wherever we live. Yeah.
So it's a decentralized kind of, you've also been politically active, served 3 terms as an older person. So you're active on the political front. Like, how do you see going from where we're like laboring under a system that sort of explicitly takes sovereignty away from people? I mean, just even the work that we do with mutual aid networks, like that was partly a reaction to seeing how people don't just take up time banking, for example, and go do stuff, because people are so used to being told what to do and given structure. So that was partly a reaction, like create open cooperatives so people can be told what to do and given structure in a mutual aid context that they could find enjoyable. But how do you see like getting into more, or do you see like more direct democracy? Do you see like advocacy? How do you get closer to it on the political or social front?
Well, politically, and also like economically, if we want to wade into the nonprofit industrial complex.
We wish to wade out of it.
We wish to wade out of it, but that's, you know, we live in these contradictory transitional times, and we are in relationship to all of it. And so actually that's why I ran for office, was I decided, well, I could either sit back and criticize how things are being done in a couple of specific areas, or I could just go and have a seat at the table and start to, you know, insert my energy and my thoughts and my presence there. And I did that for 6 years, and part of the idea of doing that was not for me personally, but I am connected to movements, and so the worker co-op movement, they wanted me there. They supported me to get there. I was there. So I was trying to kind of power launder and money launder and like take resources from that system, that exploitative system, that system that is built on capitalist principles. I mean, local government is just property tax, right? Like, say no more. It's built on, its driving force is to, you know, increase the tax base. And what is that? That's like people, that means people exploiting, but what's the word? Speculating on land, driving up land prices, making money. Some people make money while they do it, and it's just this vicious cycle, and, you know, displacing people and all of that. That literally local governments everywhere are based on that. So what I was trying to do is kind of tap into that hoard of resources and channel it out back into the people to help support our collective efforts to do something outside of that system. So in the worker cooperative world, I ended up being the leader for engaging with the police and police accountability. So again, using that platform to connect back to the people and the movements on the streets and bring those demands and push those demands in that arena. And after 6 years, the cops and the police union and the real estate lobby, you know, put something like 60 grand into defeating me. And so I'm taking a rest from being that kind of leader now. But I'm still connected to all my communities, and even more so. And I still think that, you know, there are ways for us to build what we need to build. And that really starts with our human capacity to have good relationships with each other and to be in solidarity with each other.
Yeah, hot topic these days. I just need to check the time, so I'm
Okay.
not taking any calls. We have a few more minutes. Yeah, I guess that's one of the things I feel like just going into a little bit is sort of building solidarity across there are a variety of different perspectives now that are dividing people, like in my perspective, dividing people into different halves. Like here's these two halves on this issue, and these two halves on this issue, and these two halves on this issue. So obviously the issues of choice and sovereignty are like top of mind. And for me, the issue of bridging those divides and finding commonness in them is also top of mind. Like when we're talking about solidarity economy is a term that we use a lot and is thrown around a lot. To me, a solidarity economy has to aim for the 100%, and that's part of our slogan in the Humans, which we're both board members of Humans United and Mutual Aid Networks Cooperative. I'm curious, like, what do you see in either, from some of the movements that you are working with, like things that you hear up in Ashland? For me, like, tackling these issues while bridging the disastrous history between between people who have come here as settlers and people who lived here before and people who were brought here by force. Like, have you seen any like great examples of how these things are being navigated to find solidarity across some pretty terrible divides, a lot of which have great reasons that the divides have happened, but in my perspective, been really whipped up on purpose. So my feeling is that the people who, there are a lot of people who benefited the last couple of years. There have been huge land grabs and huge money grabs, a huge concentration of wealth, and many billionaires minted, et cetera. So clearly, this kind of isolation and division benefits some people. Have you seen good examples, or do you have your own dreams about ways that we can create solidarity, sovereignty, interdependence in these conditions? Like, can these conditions help that along that it's gotten so bad, or do you see we have to go through it to come out of it?
Yes.
Little question for you.
So this gathering we had last weekend was called Communities United by Water. And it was in part in honor of a memorial service for Joe Rose Sr., a Bad River elder, who was just a teacher. He was a spiritual leader. He was a community organizer. He was a professor. He was on the Ashland County Board. He was so many things to so many people. But he was the kind of person who anyone, anywhere, could walk up to him, ask him a question, and he would look them in the eye and, spend a half an hour talking to them about whatever that question was, and just that giving that attention and not cutting off. But this last weekend was beautiful because it was, what's going on there now is Enbridge, Canadian multinational billion-dollar company, one of the biggest energy companies on the planet, wants to put a pipeline through 44 miles of the Pinocchio Hills, and again, right through the entire Bad River watershed, with the Bad River Reservation right at the bottom, the Kakagan Sloughs, the Bad River Sloughs, which are the wild rice beds that, ancient wild rice beds that brought their people there to begin with, destined to be destroyed by this thing and any spill that will happen, because pipelines do spill. In the background, this is, part of that fight, but we decided, no, let's just have a celebration. Let's celebrate Joe. Let's talk to all the surrounding communities. Let's bring educational materials about the pipeline, but not really talk too much about it, but just talk about the water, talk about each other. And there were groups of people from really different kind of walks of life. There was nonprofits, there was anarchist camps, there was, formal tribal groups. There was from all over the region, and also individuals from Pennsylvania, Texas, people from all over came to celebrate Joe and the water. It was right on the lake shore. And we feasted, we danced, we sang, we partied, we made art together, we put a teepee up together, we learned how to do that. And there was zero bad vibes. Like the day after, we went and picked up garbage on the highway, and people, a woman who lives along that highway, who is a landowner adjacent to the potential route, she said 3 or 4 neighbors just saw her there and came and gave money and brought fruit for the people doing it. And a lot of these are like Republican people who, are probably Trump voters, right? But we were united for the water, and we were united for the land, and it was based on our love of the water and the land that we were able to build that kind of solidarity. And so when the shit does hit the fan, we think there's not going to be a pipeline built because we're so strong in our love for each other and the land. But there will be more and more and more people making relationship that way. And so they're having regular potlucks up there. And so I would say the way to build that is to go deep and to find that what is that root, that love root that we all share, and organize around that root of love. And, not try to get in debates about contentious things, not try to have our egos fight it out for resources or money or whatever, but just say, hey, let's celebrate what we love together.
Lovely. That's a great place to wrap up. Fits with what I was saying. Work together, party together, travel together.
Yeah.
Those 3 really help.
Yeah.
create bonds or something.
Or something.
Yes. Well, thanks so much, Rebecca. I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Happy Sovereignty Day.
Every day is a sovereign day. All right, thanks.
Right. Cool. All right. Rebecca Kemble, everybody. So I'm going to play a song that is inspired by that. I actually realized today, I looked through all my CDs to see, I was trying to think about what would be good for this theme. And I played Democracy by Leonard Cohen a lot lately. I didn't want to play that. I want to focus on the sovereignty part. And it turns out I had totally forgotten about the existence of a whole song on my most recent solo album, but is pretty appropriate for this. So I relearned this today. And it's a song called Make Believe, and it's my musical paraphrase of the Yoko Ono quote, "A dream we dream alone is only a dream. A dream we dream together is reality." But it's not a paraphrase because it's much longer than that quote. So intellectual, what would you call that? Subphrase? Poetic license. Yeah, a super phrase, a poetic license. What? A supper phrase.
And in the end, you'll know what you wanted to be. And we're all letting go, and we all wait and see. You may believe it could be, we may believe it could too. And we all wait and see, and we all read the truth in the waves of the sea, in the light of the moon. You may believe it could be, we may believe it was true. And we all wait and see, and we all come unglued, and we all make believe, and we all speak the truth. You make believe it could be, we make believe, and it's true. We make believe, we make believe, we make believe.
you. And now, introducing my piano recital guest for today, Stephanie Ryrick. Let's see. I have had this go-to piece since I was a kid. I don't remember when I learned it, like maybe when I was 10. I was too young I was not ready to learn it. I'm probably still not ready to play it, but I've played this forever, and I love it. It's by Brahms, it's Rhapsody in G minor. I almost never perform it, and then also I broke both my wrists a year ago, and this was like a big one to have to work back to, which you should be able to tell why. There's a lot of big stretches and things. So anyhow, I've only just in the last several months learned this piece, so I'm going to play it for you, and then I'm going to play my bagatelles. I have to start over. Sorry. All right, and then at the Farley's show, I played Bagatelle by Cherubnin, which I'm not going to play today, but that, and taught me the word bagatelle and helped inspire me to write a few bagatelles of my own. So I'm going to play the older one and then a batch of newer ones, again, like some more music that I had written and totally forgot over the course of pandemic life, but relearned some of them. So anyhow, this is Bagatelle that I recorded for a 2001 album, The Long Picnic. It was funny to have a little accompaniment on snare there. All right, and then these are even more trifles than that. Thanks. I'm going to throw in a song I didn't expect to play today, but I just read the news before I came here and learned that in my hometown of Akron, Ohio, the police shot a black man, yesterday or 60 times. And I also just learned in my hometown of Akron, where my family still lives, that is the third police shooting in 6 months. So living in my current hometown of Madison, Wisconsin, on the east side, where 7 people have been shot and killed by police in, I don't remember, 10 years or something. I'm going to play this song, Down, Down, Down. And with the sentiment, make it fucking stop.
When they say they've come to shoot, you get down and down and down and down and down and down. When the music flows right through, you get down and down and down and down. Why don't you hear your mother, they yelling, what's the matter, you're down and down and down and down. You're waiting on the kisses that always make it better, you're down and down and down and down and down. When the funnel blows right to you, get down and down and down and down, down, down. When the Holy Spirit moves, you get down and down and down and down. And when you hear the weatherman cursing at the weather, you're down and down and down and down. But waiting in the water will only make you wetter, you're down and down and down and down, down. I remember days whenever I'd hear your voice, I get so carried away. I tell ya, it wasn't wise, I knew then, but too late. I adored you whatever way it went down. It may leave me crying and singing and playing piano, but when you hear the weatherman talking of the weather, get down and down and down and down. He's waiting on the kisses that always make it better. Get down and down and down and down, down. I could see a time in order to hear your voice, I would stop, turning a dime, and offer a joyful noise. I couldn't name the ways that I adore you, but anyway, I did yesterday. Now I'm crying and singing and playing piano, but when you hear the weatherman clearing up the weather, get down and down and down and down. You're waiting on the kisses that always make it better. Get down and down and down and down. And when you see your mother, they yelling, what's the matter? Get down and down and down and down. 'Cause walking on the water will always make you wetter. Get down and down and down and down. Saying all the time, the reason why I couldn't tell you, you wouldn't want me to. The meaning is there in the act of the singing. And mine reminds me of the time, you know, the time when Snowden spilled his messy secret way up high in the sky, cold and humid. The sleeping dogs, they lied. They couldn't turn the tide. We knew it was all the moon, but we still don't know if it's blinding or blinging. And your reflections in your mind are mirrors of the time we knew not to face the music. It always reminds us that we're only human. time when Snowden spilled his messy secret way up high in the sky, cold and human, and your reflections in your mind are mirrors of the time we knew not to face the music. It always reminds us that we're only human. And now it only goes to show that all I know I couldn't tell you, you wouldn't want me to. The meaning is there in the act of the singing.
Thank you. We'll be back first Saturday in August, 3 o'clock. Hope to see you. Thank you, Cafe CODA. Please contribute to the GoFundMe page, and etc.